The sun had just begun its descent, casting a warm golden hue upon the rugged landscape as I set out on what was meant to be a tranquil hike through the woods. The air was crisp, and the scent of pine enveloped me as I followed the well-worn trail deeper into the heart of nature's embrace. The path stretched ahead, inviting me to venture further, and with each step I felt a sense of liberation and excitement. Nature had always been my sanctuary, a place of solace and rejuvenation. The chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves were like a symphony that serenaded my soul. Today, however, there was a peculiar stillness that hung in the air, an almost anticipatory hush that sent a faint shiver down my spine. But I dismissed it as a trick of my imagination, a fleeting notion lost in the beauty of the surroundings. As I ventured deeper into the woods, the sunlight grew dimmer, the canopy of trees overhead filtering the light to create a dappled, almost ethereal atmosphere. A sense of unease began to stir within me, as if I were being watched by unseen eyes. The shadows seemed to dance on the edges of my vision, their movements as elusive as the tendrils of a dream. With each passing minute, the path seemed to narrow, and the woods appeared denser, more ancient than I remembered. A gust of wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it a soft sigh that seemed almost human. My heart quickened, and I forced myself to take deep breaths, chiding myself for letting my imagination run wild. But then I heard it, a faint, distant whisper that seemed to be carried on the wind itself. The words were indistinct, as if the forest itself was murmuring secrets that I was not meant to understand. I stopped in my tracks, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. The woods were alive with an eerie symphony of whispers, a chorus of voices that seemed to come from all directions. The whispers grew louder, their cadence shifting and changing as if engaged in an otherworldly conversation. Fear gripped me, and I called out, "Is anyone there?" My voice seemed to vanish into the symphony of whispers, swallowed by the mysterious depths of the forest. With trembling hands, I took a step backward, my heart pounding in my chest. The path ahead seemed to stretch into an abyss of uncertainty, the woods themselves a living, breathing entity that held secrets beyond my comprehension. Panic began to rise within me, a primal instinct urging me to flee the unsettling embrace of the trees. As I turned to leave, a figure materialized before me, a shadowy form that seemed to emerge from the very heart of the woods. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and its voice echoed in my mind like a haunting refrain. "Stay," it whispered, its words wrapping around me like a suffocating cloak. I stumbled backward, my heart racing as I realized that I was not alone in the woods. The figure reached out, its insubstantial fingers brushing against my skin, sending a jolt of cold through my veins. "You are one of us," it murmured, its voice a haunting mixture of longing and despair. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to run, to escape the clutches of this spectral presence. Adrenaline surged through me as I turned and sprinted down the path, the echoes of the whispers following me like a haunting melody. The woods seemed to close in around me, the trees reaching out with twisted limbs that seemed intent on ensnaring me. Breathless and disoriented, I burst through the tree line, stumbling into a small clearing bathed in the dying light of the sun. The whispers had faded, replaced by the familiar symphony of birdsong. I collapsed onto the ground, my heart still racing, my mind reeling from the surreal encounter. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the clearing, I realized that I had ventured into a realm beyond the ordinary. The woods held secrets, ancient and elusive, that defied explanation. And though I had escaped the clutches of the whispering presence, its haunting words continued to echo in my mind, a reminder that the boundary between reality and the unknown is far more fragile than we dare to imagine.